Okay, March 11, 2020, it was confirmed today earlier in the media that New Mexico has 3 residents who tested positive for coronavirus, and I'm going to be talking about this topic of coronavirus in New Mexico, the governor of New Mexico, Lujan Grisham, and how everything aligns with her so perfectly, and why the announcement was made today about New Mexico. And just to more further show that this whole coronavirus is just being, played and put out in the news, media, TV, everything by the numbers. And by the numbers, I mean by the Coda Gematria, which is the Jewish practice of putting letters into numbers. It's based in Kabbalah, and it's very highly used in Freemasonry today, without a doubt, without question. I mean, how is it that we can see through everything by this old code supposedly, but it's not old or dead. It's it shows us everything that we need to know just to prove that it is the code that the elite work by. So again, that's what I'm going to go through. So notice here that it says New Mexico governor declares public health emergency, and she says this is a very highly infectious virus. 3 New Mexico residents tested positive for COVID-19 early Wednesday and now are isolating themselves at home. The first confirmed cases in the state, the governor said. And here she is, Lujan Grisham, the 32nd governor of New Mexico. And her birthday is October 24th, 1959. And something to know about Gematria, how it predates English and the alphabet and the Gregorian calendar. So again, just consider how all this is going to align perfectly, and so it just all points to how Gematria is a very, a valid thing to take in and, learn. You should learn it. Everyone needs to know this code. And so another fact to know about her is that she's a former state health department secretary. And notice her birthday, October 24th, from her last birthday, 2019, to today, March 11th, is 139 days later. And COVID-19, when written out in word form, equals 139, as well as Freemasonry equals 139. And again, you don't want to write COVID-19 because that just takes away from, deciphering the full letters into numbers. And Health Department Secretary also has that 139 just to fit in along with it. Health Department Secretary also has 113, like Scottish 113. And what I mean by Scottish is the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry is probably the most powerful Freemason branch worldwide. And also that 113 looks like today's date, because majority of the world would write today as 11/3, March 11th. And noticing the 103 in Scottish, look at Governor Lujan Grisham. She has the 103, 103, and she has the 113, like Scottish and Health Department Secretary. And also, coronavirus pandemic equals 113, just like everything up here. And look at the 293 in her Governor Lujan Grisham with coronavirus pandemic 293. And as it stated earlier, public health emergency is how she announced it to the state. That actually equals 212 and 104, which stands out because COVID-19 also has the 212. And the 104 stands out because New Mexico coronavirus has 104. And again, like how she's the 32nd governor has the 104. But not just that, these are actually exact overlaps, just in different ciphers. You have the 266, 104, 274, and 112. So pretty interesting to see how New Mexico gets the coronavirus during the time of our 32nd governor, who used to work at the health department as a secretary. So, I mean, too many coincidences. And Then looking at her full name, Michelle Lynn Lujan Grisham, you got 265, 112, and 131. The 112, which fits in again like up here, New Mexico coronavirus and 32nd governor. But to talk about the 265 in her full name, that fits with coronavirus outbreak 265. And the 131 really stands out in her name because 131 prime number being 32, and again she's the 32nd governor, so just to see how she has that 32 connection within her numbers, that's pretty interesting to think that, obviously that's why she's the governor, because politics are rigged and your vote doesn't count. But anyways, to talk about New Mexico and the coordinates of New Mexico and where they're located, 34 degrees north and 106 degrees east. 34 stands out because today, March 11th, has 34 date numerology. When you take 3 plus 11 plus 20 equals 34. And then again, like how I was pointing out at the beginning, how it was 139 days from her birthday and all the 139s. 139 is interesting because prime number of 139 is 34. Again, like today's date numerology and where New Mexico sits, 34 degrees north. And also talking about the 106 and the 106 degrees east, that fits in as well because outbreak in New Mexico equals 106. And whenever you were to run today to her upcoming birthday, 2020, is 227 days away, like the 227 and outbreak in New Mexico. So I mean, this is what makes it such the perfect day for, this announcement to come into New Mexico. And one way that you can write today's date is March 11, and that has the 106, like outbreak in New Mexico, and again, like the coordinates. And don't want to confuse people here, I have a lot of numbers. But if you just look at March 11, look at the 191 and the 56, or the 191 and the 52, because Wuhan outbreak equals 191 and 52, just like Lujan Grisham, her last name, 52, 191. And notice how those even sound familiar, or similar, I mean. They sound similar, Wuhan, Lujan. I mean, that just makes me think, I don't know, it's interesting. So just to see how March 11 has that connection, March 11 also has 56, like coronavirus, 56. And even event 201, event 201 equals 56, and that's, what kind of led up to this whole nonsense, if you will. Or you can write it today's date as the 11th of March, which equals 155 and 70, just like coronavirus, 155 and 70. And I included the 74 in 11th of March because, again, 74 is in Wuhan outbreak and Lujan Grisham, 74. And talking about New Mexico was founded on January 6, 1912. And if you do the math there, that means New Mexico is 108 years old right now, which that sounds a little fitting too, because when you write out health equals 108. So just to see that New Mexico is 108 years old and we're talking about health today. And notice that when you run Lujan Grisham's birthday to New Mexico's establishment date on January 6th, it's 74 days. Again, like the 74 is up here, Wuhan outbreak and Lujan Grisham. But notice that 74, that's like that every single year from her birthday to the establishment of New Mexico. And 74 is what you would call the reflection of 47. And 47 is a big thing to New Mexico because New Mexico is the 47th state. And here I wanted to point out that today, March 11th, since it's a leap year, it's the 71st day of the year. Like whenever you write out 47th state, that equals 71, and health department equals 71. And I wanted to point out too that she is of Catholic beliefs. She is a Catholic, and that is interesting because Catholic equals 71 and 145, and the 145 I'll get to. But notice the event 201 was held on October 18th, and the event 201 was, I guess, what they're calling an exercise, and just to prepare and everything to do with what led up to coronavirus. If you want to look into it, it's just wild how nobody sees through these type of things. But October 18th, it is the day that leaves 74 days left in the year, just to go along with all those other 74s. But if you were to run October 18th to today, it's 145 days. Again, like Catholic equals 145. I thought that was fitting as well. And then the last thing I have here is, the abbreviations of New Mexico. NM equals 9. And today also has date numerology of 9. When you take 3 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0, you get 9. So, I mean, just to see how so much of it lined up so well for New Mexico and the coronavirus, and of course the governor of New Mexico. I mean, I just wanted to get all this information out there because, of course, I definitely know that it's all done by this coding of gematria. And if you doubt it, I don't even know what to say. But how is it that a lot of these, just what we're talking about, and all the numbers that have the same numbers, I mean, how is that even mathematically possible, right? Because it's coded that way. But I think that's all I have for now, and we'll just see what all happens. And I know because it's already causing a big uproar in New Mexico, and I just keep shaking my head. But anyways, we'll see.